This just in, Ghislaine Maxwell will not take the stand. Her defense team resting today. The entire sex trafficking trial wrapping up by early next week. NBC News correspondent for investigations Tom Winters outside the courthouse in New York. Tom, what can you tell us about Maxwell's decision not to testify here?
Yeah, so she came before the judge, and the judge has to ask the defendant whether or not they've chosen to testify, and if so, that they're aware that they have the opportunity to do that they have the opportunity to talk to their attorneys about it. That's very standard. It's outside the presence of the jury. Maxwell said in her British accent that she decided and she chose that based on the fact that the government, in her words, hasn't proved the case beyond a reasonable doubt, that she chooses not to testify. So she told the judge that, told the court that. At that point, the jury was brought in. There were a number of things that were stipulated to. Those are things that both sides, both the prosecution and the defense, agree are facts. The jury's made aware of that. There were several items of evidence, including the ownership records for Ghislaine Maxwell's various properties in London and several other different things that had come up during the course of trial. At that point, the defense chose to rest their case. The government said that they were not going to bring a rebuttal case. So for the evidence portion of this, Allison, this ends the trial.
Yeah.
At this point, they're on to the summation part.
Yeah, so evidence is over. You say summation part. For our viewers, what does that mean? What do we still have to get through before this goes to the jury?
Right, so we have a couple of things that we need to get to at this point. The first is basically a conference that's scheduled tomorrow morning. That's to go over the charging. Now, that's not the charges that Maxwell faces, but the charge for the jury. Essentially, what will guide the jury through their deliberations. It's an intense legal process. It's very important to this case because it's the types of things that the jury needs to consider as to whether or not the government has proven the underlying facts for them to either determine guilt or not guilty on the various charges, the 6 charges that have been brought here. So that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. We won't get any new information about the case, so no new testimony, nothing like that. The jury will not be present for that, obviously. They're going over debating the instructions that they'll have. Monday morning, 9 a.m., closing arguments for both sides. The government will also have an opportunity to rebut the closing argument from the defense. At that point, the judge instructs them, goes over those charging documents that I said, and then the jury will have the opportunity to deliberate. It is possible, as this case comes to a conclusion, that we will have a verdict prior to Christmas. A court is scheduled to be in session Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week.
Wow. All right, so we got 3 days. Next week, we'll see what happens. Tom, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.